Hello and welcome to The Edge for Thursday, April 28th, 2024. 25th, 2024. I'm Devonne, Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining me in the program for today. Pleasant morning is wished to all of you, whether you are residing here in St. Kitts and Nevis, across the Caribbean region, and those of you in parts of in the United States, Canada, and the UK, and other parts of the world. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are, and thank you so much for joining me on The Edge for today, Thursday, April 25th, 2024. It's a beautiful day. Happy to be in the land of the living. And just this morning I was thinking about the fact that so many people did not get the opportunity to say good morning. They did not get the opportunity to say good morning to their loved ones, to their family and friends. But the mere fact that we are here today suggests that we still have a purpose to serve. And so giving thanks for life, I always encourage people to do so. Look forward to the days ahead. Sometimes you wake up and you're getting ready to do whatever you're doing, whether it's preparing for work or preparing for, school, or preparing for something else. And you may not be feeling it that day. And you're telling yourself, boy, I can't do this today. I've been doing this for some time and I'm tired or I'm frustrated, but you got to keep going. You've got to keep pushing. You've got to keep working. And I think that is really, really important. The mere fact that we have life, we have breath, we ought to do something, and we ought to make a positive difference. We ought to make a change, and I believe that we ought to be the change that we want to see here in St. Kitts and Nevis and in the world at large. I think people who do absolutely nothing with their lives are, in my humble opinion, just a waste of time. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Because for me, you can't or you shouldn't compare and say, well, this person is excelling in this area and you're only doing this. I don't like that. The mere fact that they are doing something, they should be recognized, they should be appreciated. And people go out every day and do their very best. Perhaps at times it may not be the best for some, but as long as it is the best for you, I think that is what is important. I just thought that I should open with that and to basically offer some words of encouragement to you, the listeners of this program, wherever you are, whether you are on the job, whether you are on the farm, whether you are at home, whether you are just sitting and chilling on a peaceful Thursday morning here in Bastia, St. Kitts, or Queen City, Nevis, or wherever you are in the world. It is 11:04, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I am Devonne, Cornelius, and again, thank you so much for joining me on the program for today. On Wednesday, I had the opportunity, along with some of my colleagues in the media industry, to sit with the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, to engage him following his recent visit to the Middle East, where the focus was to have conversations with investors, to have those investments in St. Kitts and Nevis aimed at boosting the economy and job creation and all of that. And of course, we were able to pose questions on other matters of national importance, and it was a meaningful engagement in terms of hearing from the Prime Minister what has been happening and relaying some of the concerns or questions that the members of the public may have or had at that particular point in time. And so it was a fruitful discussion, and I want to use this opportunity to look at some of the highlights that came out of that engagement on Wednesday. Now, as I said, the purpose of that engagement, of course, was for the Prime Minister to update on his recent visit to the Middle East, where he met with a number of investors. And one of the things he mentioned was meeting with investors for a performing arts center to be developed here in St. Kitts. As we know, the orange economy is one that we make a lot of money from in terms of the Caribbean. And he made reference to Jamaica. We know Jamaica has produced and continues to produce a number of international artists, people who do really, really, really great work in the orange economy. And I think that is an area that we should definitely put our focus towards, instead of just focusing on tourism or other areas, but definitely tapping into the orange economy and tapping into the talents and different things that our young people and people in general have to offer here in St. Kitts and Nevis. For me, I don't think it should just be a talk, but there needs to be a home where people can go and hone their skills. On the island of Nevis, there is a Nevis Performing Arts Center, and that has been there, I think, for over a decade, and I think it has served the island well in terms of giving young people like me the opportunity to express ourselves, express our talents and gifts, and allow you to grow and develop. I remember in my early days of being with the Nevis Performing Arts Center Choir, or NEPAC Choir. That is where I learned the ins and outs of voice control and singing and all of that, and it was a wonderful experience with the choir director, Desmond Williams Johnson. And I oftentimes, would look back and remember those awesome times that we had, and the level of dedication and commitment that went into it. And there are so many people now who are doing great things, I would say, as a result of them participating in the choir and other performing arts disciplines that were being offered at NEPAC at that point in time. You would know, if you've been staying tuned to the news, that they're currently doing some work there to spruce up the building and to address some of the structural concerns or issues that they have had. But the facility is there, being managed by NCDF, of course, with input from the NIA and the Ministry of Culture. And it is all aimed at honing the skills of people, young people in particular, who are, whether you are interested in singing, dancing, acting, you name it. And it is a fantastic opportunity. So I definitely look forward to St. Kitts getting its own performing arts center. And it's not just going to be a space where you have performing arts or dance and singing and all of that, but it can also be used as a space for social events, and of course as a revenue generator. These are some of the things that it could definitely be used for. I think St. Kitts has a lot of talent. We have young people here doing wonderful things, going out there across the Caribbean and internationally and making a name for themselves. But I believe we can do better. I believe that we can produce more, and I believe that we can not just produce more, but produce quality talent, trained, experienced, and have all of the knows and what to do and all of that in terms of whether it's singing, dancing, acting, what have you. So having that home, I think, is really important. So the Prime Minister spoke about that in terms of getting investors for this to happen. Definitely, I look forward to that. The engagement on Wednesday, of course, she spoke to, the issue of St. Kitts and Nevis pursuing the geothermal energy. I've already given my take on that. For me, coming from Nevis, Nevis has been pursuing geothermal for quite some time, and to date we have not seen anything, let me say, concrete. And so you will recall some time ago I gave my position and I said, for me, I will believe it when I see it. But I was happy to hear from the Prime Minister that there was a signing between two of the companies that will be, or agencies rather, that would be involved in the delivery, the financing, the overall management and all of that of this project. And he spoke to the benefits that could be derived from us transitioning to geothermal energy. We know that we consume a lot of energy, and he spoke to the health sector being one of those sectors that consume a lot of energy. And I was also reading an article yesterday where they were doing a study in the Caribbean, and it mentioned that the health sector uses a lot of energy. And so if we can, whether it be a complete shift to geothermal energy, or a 50% or a partial shift to geothermal energy, I think that would be awesome for St. Kitts and Nevis. And this is all part of us becoming a sustainable island state. This is all part of us adapting to the harsh effects of climate change and how it is affecting small island developing states. It is 11 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne, Cornelius. I should also mention that we are live on ZIZ TV and ZIZ social media platforms, and so you can check us out on ZIZ's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Of course, when we open the phone lines later, you can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation for today. Let's take this break, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Get ready, St. Kitts and Nevis, for the first annual Jesus in the City Parade and Festival on Saturday, May 18th, 2024 at the Warner Park Stadium. Celebrate love for God and love for people throughout the city with festive floats, live gospel bands, choirs, costumes, banners, and paraders filling the streets of downtown Bastille with praise and worship. The opening festivities kick off at 11 a.m. with the parade leaving Warner Park Stadium at 12 noon, moving along city streets and returning to the stadium for a grand gospel concert celebration. Enjoy music featuring special international guest artists, local bands, food, and festivities for the whole family. Come lift up the name of Jesus in the city on Saturday, May 18th, 2024. To register your church, enter a float, secure a vendor booth, or to become a sponsor, visit jesusinthecity.com or call 662-8911.
Jesus in the
The future is unknown. Protect your life, your family, and your valuables from unforeseen circumstances. Let National Caribbean Insurance give you the peace of mind that you so deserve. At NCI, we offer a suite of affordable insurance plans that can be tailored to ease your financial burden. We aim to deliver exceptional products to satisfy all your insurance needs. Whether life, health, motor, or property insurance, NCI has the right solution for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales professionals are ready and able to assist you. Let National Caribbean Insurance Company Limited help you to prepare for the unexpected. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. It is 11:15 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio, and again, thank you so much for joining me on the program. Now, if you're just tuning in, I made mention of the local media engaging with the Prime Minister on Wednesday at his roundtable discussion, where he used that opportunity to update the nation on his recent visit to the Middle East in terms of meeting with investors. He spoke to the crime situation. There was a meeting, I think that meeting was held on the 22nd or 23rd. It was a meeting with national security officials to speak on and get an assessment of the crime situation in the country, and he spoke to a number of things as well. I want to also remind you, the listeners, that the Agriculture Open Day is happening now, and so I'm using this platform to encourage you to go on out and enjoy that day. It is the 29th edition of the Agriculture Open Day, and the Ministry of Agriculture has promised that it will be bigger and better than ever before, and I am told that they will have 120 stalls for patrons to explore on both Thursday and Friday, and this takes place at the Royal Bastia Valley National Park along the Kim Collins Highway. So again, take the opportunity to go on out there. Now, this annual event, which celebrates the achievements and innovations of the agricultural sector on St. Kitts, will also showcase a wide range of agro products and services, including farm equipment and machinery, livestock, plants, seeds, fertilizers, aquaculture, beekeeping, and more. Visitors will have the opportunity to meet with farmers, fisher folk, and other food producers, veterinarians, extension agents, and other experts in the field, as well as learn about the latest trends, and technologies in agriculture. In addition to the stalls, there will be a variety of activities and events throughout the fair, including educational presentations, cooking and technical demonstrations, watermelon and corn eating competitions, and free dog licensing. Visitors can also enjoy delicious local cuisine and drinks local cuisine and drinks, as well as music, live music and entertainment. The annual fair is expected to draw thousands of visitors from the Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as visitors from across the region, including Saba, St. Eustatius, Montserrat, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, making it one of the largest agricultural events of the year. This year's Agriculture Open Day is being held under the theme Securing Our Future Through Sustainable Agriculture by 2025 and beyond. It is 11:18. We'll open the phone lines now and begin taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Before we open the phone lines, I want to encourage you, when you call, please be respectful of yourself, respectful of the other callers, and mindful of the fact that others may want to make a contribution as well. So let's try our very best not to hold up the phone lines. Other people would want to get in to make their contribution. But most importantly, let's respect ourselves. Let's respect other callers who may have a different view. We have a caller. Let's take our first call for this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yes, I am on the land of the living too, thank God. I see you wearing two shirts, one to announce and one for the edge.
One to do what?
One to, you was on the news.
Oh, okay.
And one for the edge, so it's two shirts.
No, it's the same shirt. Is the ZIZ shirt.
Okay, anyway, the name of your program must be what it is, and don't vex with callers. They can't set 3 houses building and none start. You must have your views, yes. When the government change, you might have to change too. It will change. People bawling did not know what so. And they are saying the student going away every week to learn what to do and say, because nothing is doing. See you.
Mm-hmm. All right, Colin, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. You're saying that I'm upset with the callers? No, I'm not upset with any caller. As I've said, you call, you make a contribution. And I've said before, and I will say again, what I will not tolerate from any caller is disrespect. I allow you to call, make your contribution, and that's it. And if you've made a point already, and you keep making the same point, then you will be cut off, because you have to be mindful of others who may want to make a contribution as well. Let's head back to the phone lines. You have any caller? No. Right, so that's the point I was making. So when you call, you make your point, and you allow others to come in, to make their contribution as well. But we just can't have you there saying the same thing from different angles when, you have other people who may want to jump in. It is 11:21, and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone lines are open. Call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. This is The Edge for Thursday, April 25th, 2024. Now, as I mentioned, the Prime Minister in his roundtable discussion yesterday, he gave an update on meetings had with national security officials in terms of measures that had to be implemented to curb the rising crime and and is said to be able to boost public safety in St. Kitts and Nevis. He met with the Commissioner of Police, James Sutton, and the commander of the St. Kitts and Nevis Defence Force, Lieutenant Colonel J. Anthony Comrie, to evaluate the crime situation in the country. He said that, this was followed by a broader meeting with members of the Federal Cabinet on Wednesday. That would have been yesterday, where the top brass of the police force and Lieutenant Colonel Comrie presented updated short and long-term crime prevention strategies that can lead to reduced instances of violence, as was recently witnessed. The National Security Minister gave further assurance that even as these measures are presently being implemented, the security agencies are also seeking new strategies to complement the comprehensive approach being taken to ensure peace and security in the region. We are taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. If you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and earlier I made mention of the engagement with the Prime Minister on Wednesday, where he used the opportunity to update us on his recent work visit to the United Arab Emirates to further discussions on the exploration of the geothermal project on Nevis, which would be a national project, because of course St. Kitts will benefit as well. And he assured citizens of the government's commitment to national security and more, in other areas. And so he, as I mentioned, he also spoke to the development of a performing arts center, and this performing arts center will basically be a home for people to hone their skills in the industry. Now, as we're talking about agriculture, as I mentioned agriculture the other day, I had the opportunity to read the document that has been produced by the Ministry of Agriculture. And it speaks to a number of areas that they are focusing on. And I'd like to use this opportunity to share some of that with you in terms of what the ministry will be looking on and some of the areas that they are focusing on to boost food production in St. Kitts and Nevis, particularly on the island of St. Kitts. As you know, Nevis has its Ministry of Agriculture. And so I will share with you what the focus has been on that. Let me just try to, I'm having a bit of a difficulty in putting it up on my phone here. My apologies for that. So basically, this spoke to risk management, market intelligence, strategies for the long term, the short term, and basically, a general look or a general overview of what the ministry intends to do. I know there are people who have been expressing their frustration, and I want to say frustration because that's the word I would like to use to describe the situation. I know there are people who have been expressing their frustration as it relates to the wild animals, particularly monkeys, who continue to be a menace, I say, to society in terms of, local farmers trying to get their produce and all of that. And so the Ministry of Agriculture in this document mentioned that they will be focusing on that with the establishment of a feral animal control unit, and that unit will provide assistance and leadership in the control of wild animals. Of course, with the assistance of the farmers and other parties, then it is expected that you're going to see some fruits, some results from this. But the ministry spoke to that, and they not intend, but they say that they will launch it for the benefit of all farmers. Now, oh my gosh, this document refuses to open. But I'm recapping what I recall seeing, because I had the opportunity, as I said, to read it in its entirety and what the focus areas are. I know oftentimes you would say we're not hearing much from agriculture. I think it's just a situation where the information is not reaching the public, and so I thought it best to help in getting the information out there to listeners, people who may want to know exactly what is happening as it relates to agriculture. I know that the good people who work in the Ministry of Agriculture are definitely putting their best foot forward in ensuring that there is progress. So this document says it is the journey to 2025 and beyond, and it is under the theme a transformative blueprint. Sorry. Jazzy laughing off at me. Sorry, that tie up my tongue, boy. A transformative blueprint for a sustainable future. Now, the current situation is the high food import bill. Every day, we hear people complain and express their frustration about food prices. Going to the grocery store, the cost of living is ridiculously high. And you go to the grocery store, and sometimes you stand in the aisle and you look in your hand. And you maybe have $50 or $100, right? And then you look at your list and you're like, yo, what am I going to do? Because I need these things, but when I look in my other hand where the money's supposed to be, I ain't seen enough money to buy all this food, because the food is so expensive. And the region for some time has been focusing on the food import bill in the Caribbean and trying to decrease it. And they've been encouraging people to eat local, consume local stuff, and assist in bringing down the food import bill. I think what our people want to see is a drastic decrease in the food import bill, a drastic decrease in the cost of living in terms of purchasing food and all of that. Because when you can't buy food, things are scary. Things are absolutely scary. And then you have the quality food that you should eat for your own benefit in terms of your health, but they're so costly. And so you sometimes resort to eating garbage because that's what you can afford. So this document says that the food import bill in St. Kitts demonstrates a discernible trend over the past 5 years reflecting varying monetary values of imported food. It says that in 2018, the nation's expenditure on food imports amounted to $191 million, experiencing a slight decrease of $183 million in 2019. This trend persisted in subsequent years, with figures reaching 175,819,000 in 2020 and 164 million in 2021. The year 2022 witnessed a rebound as the expenditure on food imports increased to 197 million. The noted decrease from 2019 to 2021 aligns with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so because of COVID, global shipment and all of that was disrupted, suggesting a potential correlation. And even before I saw that, I immediately thought of it. It went on to say that compared to production data for meat and crops over 4 years, 20% of meat and crops consumed in St. Kitts and Nevis in 2018 were locally produced, while the remaining 80% was imported. So 80% of the food that we consumed, of the meat, and crops that we consumed in 2018 was imported, when 20% was here. The subsequent years witnessed fluctuations in local production rates, with an increase to 24% in 2019, followed by a slight decline to 22% in 2020, and an uptick to 26% in 2021. This variability underscores the challenges in achieving consistent self-sufficiency. The relatively low production rates, particularly when juxtaposed with the high import percentage, raise socioeconomic concerns. A high food import bill indicates a reliance on external sources for sustenance. While imports are vital for diverse dietary needs, a consistently high import or food import bill may strain the national economy and jeopardize food security. Economic vulnerabilities, including exchange rate, and all of these things should be looked at. This is absolutely alarming when you look at the food that we are producing and the food that we are importing. Yes, we are a small island, and so there is only so much that we can do. But I believe that we could do better. I really believe that we could do better in cutting back on the imports and growing our food. But I just thought of something, and I think it has a lot to do with your conditions and your mindset. Let's think about people who would buy lunch every day. That's your important food, eh? Looking at it on a smaller scale, you buy lunch Monday to Friday, and Saturdays and Sundays you cook because you're home all day. So that's 80% of you importing food because you're getting food from all kind of kitchen, and then that's 20% of you cooking your food. And then you perhaps wonder why you're having financial challenges and these things, and so, So I'm trying to break down what I discussed earlier at the national level in terms of the food that we import and bring it down in layman terms. So purchasing food every day versus trying to prepare your meal at home, in the long run, it's going to have a harsh impact on you in terms of finances and your health. Because when you cook your food, Jazzy, it's your food. you know what you put in there. You purchase the food from somebody here to show a God in there, boy. And so
But I was about to talk about that in terms of food, getting food. Boy, before, when I was growing up, we used to go home at 12 noon for lunch. And you used to eat what was cooked at home. So therefore you could, in terms of financially, you could buy a pack of chicken and it lasts for a couple of days, you know, with some rice. And we used to get proper food because we know what we're putting in the food.
Exactly.
So therefore, nutritionally, and we get carrots and everything, and then we go back, we walk it back to school, so we were burning off stuff and so. Yeah.
But that's it basically. And looking at the statistics here, that is exactly what is happening with everyday households. And so instead of buying the food every day, you cook your own food and you grow local produce and all of these things, and you consume local. But when I look at these numbers, I am definitely worried because the decrease that we saw in 2020 and 2021 correlates with COVID-19. So it's not necessarily good in the sense that what we were doing, we've been seeing progress. It's a case where COVID came and the ships could not come as often, and so as a result of that, we could not get the food in. But definitely we need to work on reducing our food import bill. It's 11:37. This document is extensive. There's a lot of information, but let's take a pin and we'll take some calls. Hello, caller. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to your listeners. I'm here listening to you, and I want to talk about the monkey problem.
Sure, go ahead.
I think what they should do is to get a team of people who used to go around and catch these wild animals on the road and things like that. You remember that?
Yes.
Bring them back in, let them go in the mountains and in the valleys and poison out these monkeys. They're no useful to us. They are competing with us for food, and they are destroying everything. The next thing with agriculture is talking about promoting this to sustain that and whatnot. The other day, I do a little backyard gardening, and I went to the agriculture department to get some cabbage seeds. The woman told me $1.50. I thought was $1.50 for the pack because it's just a little backyard gardening I have. When I look, she give me a pack like I could plant out the whole of Green Hill Mountain. Tell me $150.
Oh my.
Good God.
Oh my. I'm sorry.
Break that down. Break it down and sell it so small backyard farmers could get some of those seeds. You understand?
Yes.
I don't see the sense of having this pack for $150. I don't have the land to plant them things there like that. And if I buy it, it's going to just stay there and rot. You understand? They got to come better than that, brother. Thank you very much for your time.
And thank you so much for your contribution to the program. You're listening to The Edge. It's 11:39. So I just spoke about the monkey problem, right? In the document that I have in front of me, you spoke to a feral control program, which is controlling wild animals. And the document reads that the pervasive challenge faced by more than 500 farmers and backyard gardeners revolves around the incessant threat posed by the monkeys and wild pigs. These animals exhibit a voracious appetite for a diverse range of crops, impacting fruits, vegetables, and root crops cultivated not only on farms but also in home gardens. The complexity of controlling monkeys in particular stems from their intelligence, agility, and large population, and the absence of a singular effective measure to deter them from crop destruction. These monkeys are smart. These monkeys are strong. They're very, 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 very agile. You can't fool monkeys in 2024, Jazzy. They're smart, bad. So when you set in trap, they know you set a trap for them, and they're going to bypass that trap one way or the other. The document also went on to say that the pervasive presence of monkeys affecting virtually every location poses a significant obstacle to promoting agriculture to serious investors and young entrepreneurs. When you might be interested in growing your food, like I always think about growing my own food. I won't lie, because I have the yard space to grow my own food. But boy, when I think about them wild animals there, when I think about them monkeys and donkeys, and that does deter me, because I would break down, kid you not, I would break down, I would shed real tears if I just plant some food and I come home, I left ZIZ gone home jazzy, and the monkey tear up all. So I like that the agriculture department put that in the report here, that's one of the things that deter people from growing their own food. It is easy to say, man, grow your own food, but the challenges, you come home and all your stuff pluck up, and the part about it is that the monkeys, they're very bad-minded, you know. They would pluck up your food and they wouldn't eat it. They wouldn't eat the food. So, you know, that's I want to say amazing. It's amazing. The toll of this issue is quantified by the contracted trappers and shooters, indicating that monkeys annually consume around 2 million pounds of food from the national agricultural sector, valuing with a valuation exceeding $4 million. So every year, these monkeys take $4 million worth of food out of St. Kitts and Nevis from our crop production. So the farmers, they go on the farm and they put in so much work, and they work and they work and they work. And here come these bad-minded monkeys, and they pluck up everything and they go with it. And they eat none. Right? We have a caller? Oh, sorry. So it says, recognizing the severity of this challenge, the Ministry of Agriculture has initiated proactive measures by establishing a feral control unit. This unit assumes a crucial role in providing leadership and assistance for the effective and efficient control of feral animals, addressing a critical aspect of sustaining agricultural productivity. I think we're at the point where people want to see these measures work. People want to see these measures work. It's one thing to come and say, you have these measures in place, but boss, really and truly, if they're not work, then nobody want to hear nothing about them. People want to see the work, especially if you have a farm. I don't know, I could only imagine what people are going through who own a farm and you work so hard and the sun hot you. And you come home and the monkey and the wild pigs, they're gone with everything.
But do you think that we invade the habitat or something where they're all down in town and all over? I mean, infrastructure and planting houses and stuff like that in where they used to live cause them to come?
That could be a reason. I think the other reason is to the fact that they are growing, they are expanding. The actual monkey population is really huge. I think they did an estimation and it was about 30,000. So it's because we have so many monkeys, the reason why we're seeing them in the cities. This morning when I was heading to the pier, I see a monkey sitting on a step in Charlestown at 7:20 a.m. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Let's have our telephone lines and we'll take some more calls at 465-2555. Let's take this call. Hello, caller. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Sir. I had to call back.
Sure.
How much you say the population be?
The last count they did, and I attended a I think it was a workshop. It was about 30,000.
Anyhow,
it's probably more.
This is what I have to say. If these people were really serious, I could remember some time ago they had a fellow riding around, say he's from Cuba, and he come to cut down the population. He looked like he didn't get you. But in Nevis, they had a strategy of you catch the monkey, kill the monkey, and you bring the tail and the foot to the agriculture department, and you get some kind of stipend. I forget so much money they
remember that.
For the monkey.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
They need to bring it back. They need to bring it back. It could be our economy, catching monkey and killing monkey. You understand? Okay, now, please allow me.
Sure.
Crime. Further, I just hear you all say on the radio, one Caribbean. It is one Caribbean, yes, but different islands with people with different culture and behavior. And one pastor cannot fit all the souls. Our Prime Minister said the previous government had a band-aid on the sore of crime, but today he ain't even put on a band-aid on the sore, and now it's what? It gets bigger. It's time for amputation. I heard on the news that the RSS, something like that, you remember those guys who used to come from them different islands, them police guys, some time ago? Was it the RSS people?
If it was the I'm not entirely sure.
A body of it, something like that, for the regional security, whatever it is, about. Mr., we don't want them here. Clear now. We could solve our problem ourselves. Our problem is our problem that we need to sit down and work things out and realize what is causing the problem. Not somebody gonna come from outside. God, I'm sorry for calling him, but he done deceased. Ronald Hickson get blows from them. Other people get blows from them. Those guys come here with an intention, like they don't even want to go Haiti. They're afraid to go Haiti, but they come down here defenseless people, they're going to beat them up. We don't want that. If Dr. Ju can't handle it, Dr. Ju is Charlie Fraser. Please leave the office. You can't handle it. Put somebody who can handle it. Thank you very much.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. It's 11:48 and you're listening to The Edge for Thursday, April 25th, 2024. I'm Devonne, Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. A very great conversation that we have had, the input by the caller, and looking at this 25 by 2025 agenda report issued by the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm trying to see where I could tell you to go so you could read it for yourself, for those of you who may be interested. So you could call the Department of Agriculture at 467-1841. That's 467-1841, and ask them for a copy of this. And you know, when you get some time, your spare time, you sit down and you go through it for yourself to see what they are focusing on. I think it's great that our people get informed. If you perhaps want to send them an email, you can do so by emailing agriculture@gov.kn. That's agriculture@gov.kn. And their office is located at La Grite Bastille, St. Kitts, and that's the contact information. So I'm going to take some more time and go through this document to look at what exactly is happening as it relates to agriculture. It also talks about marine resources and all of these other areas, market intelligence. It's an extensive document. It's about 31 pages, so it's quite a long read, but it is definitely worth reading, and I can assure you that after reading this document you would be better positioned to speak on certain things surrounding this. It speaks to agro processing. It speaks to some of the fisheries complex, the Bay Fisheries Cooperative Building, the Bastia Fisheries Complex, the Old Road Fisheries Complex, and all of these things. It speaks to the ecosystem-based fisheries, aquaculture facility development, Bayford's Livestock Center of Excellence, and generally the livestock sector, the poultry processing facility. It's an extensive document, so I'm encouraging you guys to read it. But again, you can reach out to the department, and get that. I think we had a caller on the line. We lost that caller. All right. It's 11:52, so let me say thank you so much for joining me on the program for today. It was a really nice conversation, and I am happy I had the opportunity to share this bit of information with you, the listeners of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm just here to educate the public on what is happening, the biggest stories happening in governance, and of course hear from you, the callers, your views and your opinions on matters of national importance. And so we'll begin wrapping up our conversation for today. If we have no callers on the line, we have a caller. All right, let's take this one. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning. I just called in, so I'm trying to find out what the program is really all about.
Sorry, you had some echo. I didn't hear you, the last part of what you were saying.
I just phoned in, so I was trying to find out what the program is all about.
Oh, this program?
Yeah.
All right, so the name of this program is called The Edge. I'm your host, Devonne, Cornelius, and it focuses on the biggest stories happening in governance and things of national importance in St. Kitts and Nevis. At times, we look at things happening in the Caribbean and international scene, and there's a calling segment where you get the opportunity to share your views and opinions on topics that we've raised, or if there's something that you like to share with the public.
Okay. It's about agriculture.
Sorry?
Going forward, all you'll be talking about the improvement in agriculture.
Could you speak up? I'm not hearing you clearly.
It's about agriculture.
Yes.
How to improve in agriculture. I think one of the things we need to do, right, is to go back into the schools with those school gardening. Assign officers to the schools. Let the children them at grade 4 to grade 6 know how to plant and care for plant at that early age. Because I'm telling you the truth, when these children just study, they want to put them in the soil. So this is the time you need to get into the schools and get at these school grounds. Where you can organize school competitions with best gardening and, and let's start from there. And next thing, what is the purpose of what's going forward with those land there and the King Collins bypass road? What we used to have a sure lot.
What is it? I'm not sure.
Because, it's pure bush in there. Pure bush. What you want telling me? 3 or 4 farmers can go in there and plant banana tree, planting tree, soursop, something. All bush are in here. Land just there wasted. I can understand you say in the aquifer and I don't want to sweet culture to there. I can understand, but if you're planting banana tree and planting tree and for your finger, you don't need chemicals. There's a lot of land in there. And to make things a waste. Next thing you bring back a man, push it off, you go back up again. They could use as food. They was going came in here all the time. So man, when you don't use the land as something, you just got to abandoned. People use it as garbage. You could plant jelly cheese, something in there. Thank you.
And thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to the program. It's 11:56, and I'll begin wrapping up our conversation for today. It was a beautiful conversation with you, and again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm happy I had the opportunity to share information with you and the callers who were able to get in to make their contribution as well. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. Until next time, you guys stay safe and continue to enjoy the rest of your Thursday. If you've not yet gone to Agriculture Open Day, I am encouraging you to do so. Go on out, get out the house, man, and find something to do. It's happening today and tomorrow, Friday. You guys stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. I see some people texting and driving, and I think that is one of the main causes of these very horrible accidents that are happening today. So please take your time on the road. Have a good one. Coming up next is the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Stay tuned.